beans last night. Brown sugary, hickory, Bush's Best baked beans. I tell you what, they were dang good. Bought them, who knows, when I moved in, or a few months ago at least, figured I'd have them around on one of those days when I didn't know what else I wanted to have. And that was yesterday. I eat a fair amount of like quesadillas or nachos or even spaghetti at my house. I'll tell you what, a big can of baked beans and some beef hot dogs chopped up in them were really quite delicious. I'm still here. I'm just putting away, cleaning up a little bit, putting away some of my dishes. Don't know if you can see me. Realized my counter is a little messier than I like. It's often the case, I guess. Maybe one of the problems being me is, and why I do this show is because I often see things that aren't quite like I'd like. And I neurotically want to fix them or make them better. Like right now, I think there's bean juice. I spilled the beans over on this counter. I always see things that could be a little better. It's not a good way to be, I'm telling you. Not a good way to be at all. But we do a combination of working on ourselves and accepting ourselves as we are. And if I'm neurotic, I'm neurotic. Let's go with the coffee with Ken mug today. Feel a little bad for you guys. I had my back turned to you during most of the intro to my show. It's not what I want. Thought it'd be a new fun angle having you over there. I don't know how fun it is at all. Get my water. You guys have your coffee already? Hello, Olive and Akash. Alright, got my coffee, got my water, cleaned up my kitchen. Pouring my coffee. Grabbing my gimbal. I'm gonna sit on the table. I haven't sat at the table for a while. Been sitting on the couch. The couch is kind of nice, but a little bit, I don't know, I feel I'm leaning over or crowded. Oh, I can always move over there if I want. Slide you guys in. Put my lid on my coffee so it stays nice and hot while I say good morning to you. And without further ado, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. It is Tuesday morning. It is September 23rd. It is 5:56 a.m. Happy Tuesday. It's a little show I've been doing for quite some time. It is a show about me talking, show about me sharing some feelings, kind of sharing a little bit about the ups and downs we have in life. For those that have been watching a while, you know it is not just a show about me talking. You know it is also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. Well, let me have some water first. Got started in my intro. Sometimes I'll talk for like 20 minutes before getting into my intro. I dove into it a little quickly today. It's nice. I think I need to breathe. I was stressed out end of last week, and I was messaging a friend, and she'd always respond, breathe. And she's right. I think when we're feeling anxious, and I'm feeling a little anxious this morning, that it's important to remember to breathe. I'm in Wisconsin. Welcome to New Mexico, or from New Mexico. It's really early in New Mexico, right? It's an hour behind. It's probably only 4:58 in New Mexico. Good morning from Wales. Even though, well, no, it's not past noon. It's 11:58 in Wales right now. So good morning to you over there in the United Kingdom. And again, as I was saying, for those that have been watching a while, you know it is not just a show about me talking. You know, it's also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And with that in mind, I got a nice hot cup of coffee in front of me, and I'm so excited to have my first sip at this pretty early hour today. And my hope is wherever you are and whatever you're doing, that you got a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. It's the pumpkin spice. It's the last of the bag. Yeah, the last of the bag. It's still September. They should be selling pumpkin spice for, I don't know when they begin and end, but it seems to hit the shelves in mid-August, I think, around here at least. And I don't know why they ever take it off the shelves. It's not like they got to really grow pumpkins to make that flavor, I wouldn't think. Somebody said God is good all the time. And as much as in most of my life I might have even mocked that statement, I think it's important to remember, because again, I felt anxious this morning and afraid. Starting a new job today. I had a lot of, moved up to Appleton, Wisconsin in February from the suburbs of Chicago after a painful second divorce, and wanted to get a little bit of a fresh start. I was struggling letting some things go, letting my dreams go, if you will, back in Chicago, and needed to create a little space between me and my ex, honestly. Hard part was I created space between me and my little ones, and we're still working through that. And the space has gotten bigger than when I left it, much bigger. But that's not for today's show. So anyway, I've been working a couple of jobs since almost the day I got here, and I was good at and liked, and but it was kind of physically demanding, and I think I was financially capped working there. But it was nice. They liked me. I was good at it, and I started doing another job that I thought might have more financial opportunity, and that one didn't work out. And because of that, I'm starting a couple new ones this week, and first day at one of them today, and that's always I'm not that nervous about it. What I'm most nervous about it is maybe that it'll be too slow for me. The pace will be slow, or the atmosphere will be quiet. I don't do good in slow-paced, quiet atmosphere. I'm kind of loud and spastic and fast-moving. See how it goes. Wish me luck. Also hoping it'll be lucrative enough to cover my financial expenses, which are fairly significant. Again, starting 2 jobs on a part-time basis, and in a perfect world, I'd probably be awesome at one, in a perfect world, I'd be awesome at both, but maybe one of the opportunities would be such a good fit that I'd go full-time there and let the other one kind of fade away. but that's not what the positions were for. And kind of juggling the schedules with both at the same time. And they're both asking my availability, and my availability is 100% till the other one schedules me as well. Yeah, I'm drinking my coffee black. At home, I just don't buy cream. Cream I put in on the road. I talk about this probably every show. Good morning, Sarah. I was thinking about you, Sarah. I really appreciate the insight you put into the comment on my Bible reading last night, and just you caring so much makes me want to keep doing it, to be honest with you, because it can be lonely doing this. I have a ton of people like commenting right now, but they might never be on my show again. They don't subscribe. I don't know any of the names. So it can be kind of lonely feeling sometimes. And when I do those Bible readings, I turn off the comments, and I might only have like 15 people watching while I'm doing it, and that's fine, because I really should be reading it for myself. I just use the fact that I am doing it on camera as kind of a way to keep me going, because I think a million people, probably more than a million people have read the Bible, but lots of people probably pick up the Bible, read a page or two, and then stop. And I'd like that not to be me. But as you saw, and I appreciated your explanation about the Hebrews and their, I think it's called genealogy, where they're talking about the lineage and where they were born from. And it's, when you bring that up, I'm thinking about the House of David, which I've been just watched the first season. By the way, awesome show. I so recommend The Chosen and House of David, and not from a biblical or Christian or Hebrew standpoint or whatever you want to say. Just really good shows. They're good stories. And I will tell you what, when David kicked Goliath's ass, it felt really good. And it felt really good. So you guys should watch it. But either way. In that show, they'd greet each other and they'd say, "Good morning, Jesse, son of Ishmael," or whatever. And they'd always state the house of David, the son of Stephen, things like that. And you're right, the lineage is very important. And I think at the beginning of House of David, David was considered a bastard child, if you will, to his father, because I think it was his father's second marriage. And back then they didn't, I don't know if they messed around with second marriages. I'm not totally sure of the details, but either way, he was considered a blight on the family name, and was kind of hidden from society a little bit because of it. So reading the Bible, especially the Old Testament's challenging, because there's a lot of long, strange biblical names, and the writing is unusual in the Old Testament. Honestly, I don't think there's any way I can get through the Old Testament. I'm 6 chapters in, and there's probably 1,000 to each testament. But you do it one bite at a time. Good morning, Randall. You enjoyed what short yesterday? You enjoyed the short yesterday. I post about 4 or 5 shorts a day. I have 2 jobs I'm starting this week, but the job I think it's a labor of love is doing this content creation. And doing the talking, this part of it is pretty easy for me. Although some mornings like today, I just feel like sitting, laying in bed and hiding. But it's good to have an excuse not to hide and to come out and pour my coffee and clean my counters and Start talking to you nice folk. You just finished Solomon. You read 2 pages a day. Oh. Can I make you a moderator? No, I can't make you a moderator. Will I be able to stay off the schedule this weekend? Well, there is no schedule. There is no schedule. Everything happened so fast. I went from 2 jobs to none in a week and a half. And again, I think things happen for a reason. I left the job I was good at and loved at for a job that I wasn't as good at and wasn't as loved at. But I thought I could get better with a little more reps, if you will, a little more work. And I left the one job, they were all hurt. I went to the other job, they weren't as excited as they should have been. And they let me go. Hurt my feelings, I cried. So last Wednesday, although I saw the sign on the wall, because they said you got 1 more day to prove myself a week and a half ago, I sent out a bunch of applications to jobs and had 3 interviews on Thursday, Friday, and got offered jobs by all 3, and they're all asking me, what's my schedule like? I go, well, I don't know. You know, working part-time or flexible schedules unusual. I don't know, as a realtor forever, there was no set schedule. And before that, I was in printing sales, but that was come in at 8 and leave at 5 or whatever. And stockbroker was come in and leave. You know, it's been different. Let's see. Then that happened to me 10 years ago. I don't know if I learned the lesson. I think I would do it again. I mean, I don't know. Would I do it again? Yeah. I'm hoping and believe and have faith that I was needing to work like 6 days a week at the first job to cover my expenses. And I was good at it. But again, it was physical and tiring. I'm 57, more physical than I want at 57 perhaps. I mean, I was able to do it. I was actually proud of myself how well I did it. I thought I had a better opportunity. I went for it, you know. And although it didn't work out, at least it didn't work out right away. I was fortunate enough to get a few job offers within a few days of that. And today I'm waking up going, oh, I go in this morning. I hope they like me. More importantly, I think they'll like me. And more importantly, I hope I like it. I'm one very particular for environments, and I feel other people's energy a lot. And if I'm working with some people that hate what they do and would rather, I don't know, sit at a desk and kind of quietly go about their day till it's time to go, that might be a hard environment for me, and I'm hoping it's not that. Somebody said, it's okay, jobs are like water. Enjoy the time off, work until you find something new. It's funny, I had to go up and finish the paperwork at the job I'm not starting today, yesterday. And I saw, I don't know if you've ever like bought something, like you go car shopping, for instance, or house shopping or whatever, and you really enjoy the shopping aspect of it. And you buy a car, and you keep looking for a car. I felt that way a little bit yesterday, and I wasn't sure if it was okay or not. I was driving back and telling my soon-to-be boss how I need the money. I want to work as much as possible. He goes, I love to hear it. And while I'm driving back, I saw I got an email or a message or something about another job that had opened up around here, and I'm going, I wonder if I should apply. So I'd already accepted two. I feel guilty. I kind of look at like jobs as like relationships. Like I'm cheating on one, working at the other. I struggled with that. I talked about my struggle with it. Hello, Angela. Yeah, I kind of look at, I put everything I got into a job or into a lot of things, and kind of feel like when I'm at the other one, I'm cheating on the first one. So I'm wondering, I've accepted two jobs. I'm starting one today. If I applied to the other one and they hired me, you know, at some point you got to stop looking at your options. But I don't know when that point is. I mean, certainly with relationships, you need to stop looking at your options when you get married. But I wonder. I mean, I'm not in a relationship, but I wonder about you all fine folk. All right. Speaking of looking at your options, I watched a movie last night called The Sentinel. Has anybody seen it? It came out in 2006, and it was starred Michael Douglas and Kiefer Sutherland and who's the actress? Drawing a blank on the actress, his name. Eva Longoria was in it, so it had some stars. It looked kind of decent. I watched it, and I don't even know if it was decent. Kiefer Sutherland, probably when that came out, was finishing up his work on the show 24. I don't remember the years that the show 24 was going on, but it was probably about that time. And this character, he was a Secret Service agent, so it was kind of fitting that time, and him yelling and this and that. And Michael Douglas is a star. But either way, Michael Douglas was one of the top guys in the Secret Service, protecting the president and the first lady. And he's having an affair with the first lady. I just had a hard time believing that at all. Do you know what I mean? Are you kidding me? You're screwing the president's wife. You're on the Secret Service. You don't think this might get found out. You don't think this might be inappropriate. I mean, you got cameras, you got microphones, you got phone taps, you got... And he's screwing the president's wife. You know, and he was supposed to be the good guy. It was hard looking at him at the good guy when, okay, you say you love her, but you're still so stupid, it's hard to watch. You know? 3 men and a baby. It's Hollywood Films. I know, but again, I had a hard time taking the movie seriously with that. You know what I mean? I'm going, oh, come on. Come on. You're sleeping with the president's wife? You know. Yeah. I think somebody, whoever wrote, it was probably a book. Maybe it was better as a book, if it was a book. And a lot of times the movie doesn't do the book justice because the movie really goes into it. But if I'm reading a book and the head of the Secret Service is trying to get away with having an affair with the president's wife, I might go, huh? Oh. Let's see. Hello from Liverpool. How are you? Somebody says it's in Douglas's contract. What, that he's cheating on he's in an affair? I mean, Wall Street, he was probably certainly having several affairs. I don't know if they showed him in Wall Street. Obviously, Dangerous, what is it called? What was the one with, no, Kim Basinger was in last night, but another blonde actress, let's see. Fatal Attraction, yeah. Good morning, Schliebel. And he was also in one with Demi Moore, where he cheated on his wife. You're right. It was about sexual harassment. This was when like email was a new thing, so it must have been like late 90s. And I forget what that was called. I think it was set in like Washington. And Demi Moore was his boss. And I think they'd had a relationship in years prior, but she got promoted and came back as his boss. Sharon Stone, yeah. Indecent Proposal. Wait, Indecent Proposal. No, it wasn't Indecent Proposal. That was the one with Demi Moore and the guy from Cheers. I think Robert Redford was in that. What's the one? Somebody help me with it. Demi Moore, Michael Douglas. Disclosure. Thank you, the dude. It was Disclosure. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, Michael Douglas does a pretty good job of always playing the victim as he's having sex with these women. She came on to me. She harassed me, says Michael Douglas. Or in last night's movie, I love her, David. You love her? She's the president's wife. You love her? Fatal Attraction. She cooks bunnies for fun. She's obviously a psychopath. Oh, that's nice. So what else happened yesterday? I was chatting with a buddy. He asked if Appleton feels like home yet. I said, not quite. I love my house. I love the town. But again, I haven't worked in the last several days. And without work, I feel a little bit of a boat without a rudder. The two things I focus on most right now are work and rest. I sprinkle in faith and going to church and working out, of course, and my kids when I have them. But over the last week or so, it felt a little funny not going to work. The dude really watched the movie Disclosure very closely. Yeah. I don't know how I ever felt about Demi Moore, honestly. And I'll only talk about it because we're bringing up a movie she's in, and a lot of people say I look like Bruce Willis and make fun of that on here. She has a certain, I think, to me, she lost a little bit of her femininity. as her career progressed. And maybe it's because she played that Navy SEAL. She was maybe the first woman to ever go through Navy SEAL boot camp or whatever. Honestly, I think it was her boob job. And I'm not totally sure if it's appropriate we're talking about this on this show. But I think after that, and I assume she had one, she kind of started frightening me a little bit. G.I. Jane, yeah. Let's see. Good morning, Marcus Roth. How are you today? How are you all today? Well, even an indecent proposal. I think she started balling for Robert Redford. Yeah. Do I know Stray Kids? No, I do not know Stray Kids. What is Stray Kids? What is that? I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna go get some more coffee. Let's get a little more coffee and talk for a little more. I don't know how long I'm gonna talk for today, but we shall see. We shall see. Let's see. Indecent proposal upset you? Yeah, because they were in love. They were a wonderful couple. And they were down on their luck. And some guy said, I'll give you $1 million if I can sleep with your wife. And they did it. And he felt bad about it. Woody Harrelson's character didn't like it, I gather. And she started falling in love with the Robert Redford character, which was kind of weird. And then they kind of pretended it didn't happen, and they got back to together, I think is how it turned out. Probably wasn't my favorite movie. I think it was bothersome to me as well. I was picturing myself as the Woody Harrelson character going, no way. Yeah, it was certainly an indecent proposal. Where am I based? Appleton, Wisconsin, based. Kind of a funny way to, I don't know, maybe it's not funny. Based. I guess I would say, where do I live? But where am I based? Speaking of where am I based, I read a little thing, 10 things you should know before considering van life. And it was written by a guy, he and his wife had bought a van and traveled the country for the last few years. And he wrote how it's harder than most people know, and most people on social media glorify living in a van and what have you. And I just thought it was interesting because a year ago I was living in Yellowstone, and I was considering, a little over a year ago, I was living in Yellowstone now, and I was considering doing that. And I don't think I'd love it. I mean, I needed a house, I needed a home. But I kind of like roots more than maybe I knew. And although I don't really miss the suburbs of Chicago, I did when I was in Yellowstone, and I think I would if I was just drifting around, visiting park and different cities. It sounds fun, but I think living a life without roots would be hard for me. And a little bit when I left that first job, I left the roots I had here in Appleton, Wisconsin. It was my social life. Going into work, these people were the people I knew and were my friends and family away from my real friends and family. And leaving that job and just trying to replace it by going to a job with more opportunity was harder than I thought. Hello, Scott Finney. The dude says he was going to do the van life, but went with an RV. Thank God, had enough going from 1,000 square foot to 200. What kind of RV do you own? The dude. But okay, do you drive around or do you live in a town? I met a guy out in Gardner, Montana who lived in an RV. You live in a 24-foot camper. And are you based in a place? I assume it's a warmish place. 24-foot camper. So you tow it behind a pickup truck, it sounds like, if it's a camper. Otherwise, a camper is different than an RV. You're based in Texas, okay, so it doesn't get that cold. Yeah, you'd love it for a month at a time. Yeah, and that's kind of what the guy that wrote the article was saying. He just thought it was challenging, and the people he met were wonderful people. And I kind of felt that way when I was in Yellowstone. That the tourists that were coming through and the people I worked with they were all nice people, but our conversations were limited to buffalo and hiking, you know. And seeing buffalo and bear and tourist conversations, they're interesting, and they're all from around the world, but everyone's talking and showing the pictures they took of a buffalo or something like that. And I'm going, you know, I want to see. It was kind of nice for me this morning when I was making my coffee. I saw a guy just leaving his car and headed off to work. And it's kind of nice being immersed in the real world as well. And with kids going to school and baseball games and, you know, doctor's appointments and things like that. And, you know, if you're living a van life or working at Yellowstone or what have you, I don't know, it's a different sort of life. It's kind of like a life of permanent vacation. That's the beauty of van life. You write your own schedule. Yeah. And I'm not one, again, I struggled in school. I struggle in 9-to-5 jobs. I'm not one that likes to be locked in. But I have found it refreshing at times having a job to go to. After I left the real estate business and went through a divorce, I had to get a job right away. And I worked at Target as a shelf stocker. And it wasn't glorious or anything, or even high paying. But at least it felt nice going in, having a job to do, doing the job and going home and kind of leaving it behind. And if you're living out of a van, traveling the world, always kind of going where the wind takes you, I think it'd be neat for a while. But I'll just tell you, the guy that wrote this article, I think struggled with it. Good morning, Sandra Lynn. How are you? I'm drinking pumpkin spice this morning. Went live a little bit early today. We have a glorious audience of 38 people watching and 20 thumbs up. It's kind of a quiet morning, but that's okay. Maybe many are sleeping in this Tuesday. How's Naperville, Sandra Lynn? I'm still on several Naperville pages. One's a political one written by a councilman. He's not he's a Naperville city councilman, but I kind of get dragged into the politics of Naperville from time to time and the battles he's fighting. I'm also still on some Naperville pages where people, like Neighborly Naperville, Sandra, where people are posting pictures, and Naperville's really a beautiful town. Good morning, Cleo, how are you? How are you? Somebody's saying, please don't go there. I'm not sure what there means. Early volleyball practice for your kiddo. Naperville Central, still. You gonna drive them by my Dunkin' Donuts? When was that? That wasn't even a year ago. I have somebody watching who I've never met, but she's watched my show for a long time. And I was having my coffee doing my show at a Dunkin' Donuts right by, I think it was one of her kids' a high school in town. And I think she saw my car. She's watching or listening to me. And she saw my car parked in the parking lot. That could have only been like 10 months ago. That had to be like last December. It's amazing because that feels like a long time ago, fortunately. Would I like to go back to Naperville? Not really. I don't think I want to go back to Naperville. I like Wisconsin. I think I like the people. I want to see my kids a lot more. But my big girls are big girls. One's in college. The other's a junior in high school. I mean, I miss them, but that's just probably normal parent missing kids when they start growing up a little bit. But yeah. It was right after I bought the new car, which was in November, Sandra Lynn. I still love my Kia Soul, by the way. Somebody said they think their friend knows me. The dude said, glad I found a new happy home area. I was really fortunate. The only thing that really brought me to Wisconsin, well, the main thing was it was close to Illinois. And I figured I could still, was planning to be able to see my kids regularly. It did not work out the way I thought. Well, let me tell you, sometimes life doesn't. But the other thing, I had a viewer in Oshkosh, and I was going, well, I don't know where else to go. I'll head up there. And stayed with my friend for a few days, and didn't think Oshkosh was the right scene, so came up went a little further north and into Appleton, and I think this is an amazing town. And over the last few days, I've gone up to Green Bay a couple times, and I think that's a really neat town as well. Oh, yeah. For a work event, I bought a Packers shirt. And a lot of people wear Packers gear up here, I'll tell you that. For anyone out of the country, there's a football team called the Green Bay Packers. And I don't know, they're a pretty good football team, and they're a big rival of my hometown team, the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears started out 0-2, and the Packers started out 2-0. So I started thinking I might adopt the Packers and just start cheering for them because they were the winning team. Then they lost this weekend, and the Bears won. So I'm back on the Bears. I'm a huge Bears fan. Don't anybody say I'm not. Tina Gurley, who are you? You ask a lot of questions that are more personal than need be, I would say, for somebody that's just watches my show. I'll bet you your account hasn't been around for very long. Green Bud Packers. Why is the moon out in the morning? The moon's not out. It might be a reflection or something. What do you mean? We have, that's not the moon. That's one of my lights from, I don't know, what are those called? I should know. Those are canned lights. That's just a reflection from a canned light. I have to be the guy. I don't know what that means. The guy. I feel I almost do have to be the guy. At work, I struggle. I don't want to have to be the guy. I'm hopeful I can just kind of meld in at work today. Let's see. I have a question. Well, the Florida Gators and the Texas Longhorns aren't really rivals, are they? You know, Florida and Texas aren't rivals. Somebody said they're from Florida and their boyfriend's from Texas. I think thought like Florida would be a rival with Georgia or Florida State or whatever. Around long would have the most questions. Let's see. Good morning from Central Michigan. I think someone who hadn't been around long would have the most questions. I don't know what that means. Just started this year. What did you start this year? I don't know what you're all talking about. So I'll just sit and drink my coffee. Oh. Thank you, Angela. Good morning, Rebecca. How are you? You just remember to double tap your screen. Okay, Florida-Texas is a rivalry since Texas has moved to the SEC. Okay, well that explains. Yeah, no, I did not know that. I thought it was like Texas A&M or whatever, but they've really shattered the whole rivalry thing in college football. And I was joking about it. I went to a bar to watch the Illinois game, which Illinois sucked at, by the way, on Saturday. But anyway, that's not part of the story. And we were joking that the Big Ten is like half the country and the SEC is the other half. It's kind of strange. And a little bit, I'm sure, I don't know where Oklahoma, yeah, Texas and Oklahoma was a rivalry, but in Florida used to be a big rivalry with Georgia, I think. Somebody's saying they've been told I was quite wealthy. I mean, I'm just curious, who told you that I was quite wealthy? Who are you having a conversation with about me? Your buddy told you that I was quite wealthy. Oh. I mean, I don't believe you, honestly, that you and your buddy were discussing me. But I'm a little flattered if it's true. I'm a little flattered. Texas and Oklahoma are both in the SEC, and they're whatever. Have I started at my new job? Rebecca, today's the first day, so I woke up a little stressed. I hope it feels good. I hope I like it. I hope it's busy enough or active enough or not. I worked in a bank 20 years ago, and it was like I was in prison. If I'm in an energetic place, I feel great, and I feel excited, and I'm moving around and enthused. And I mean, I know I should have figured this out before taking the job, but I really needed a job. So I mean, it'll probably go well. I'm just a worrier by nature. Well, thank you, Rebecca. I hope I will. Good morning, someone else. I appreciate that. Where have you been? Good morning, T-Mill45. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, no, I hope I'm not being swayed by I'm being swayed by taking the jobs because I really needed the jobs. I mean, that's the reason I'm swayed. But the inner worrier of me is wondering if I was brought in for like superficial reasons, like, and I'm going to be vague on this, but some aspects of the job seem very appealing. But the bottom line is I really needed the jobs, so that's okay. Vader kicks. I'm not totally sure what the atmosphere will be like or where I will be most of the time. But yeah, I start one today. Rebecca, you are a wise woman. One day at a time and see how it goes. Yeah, no, I jump ahead with my thoughts. Again, I woke up at 5. It felt really good sleeping last night, by the way. Has anybody else seen the movie Sentinel but me? Good morning, Carrie Ann. I hope it's terrific. Comes with age. No, I've always been stressed. Hello, Nathan. How are you? Now we're starting to get a glorious audience. I don't know. All right, nobody's seen the Sentinel. I just wanted to talk to somebody else about it that had seen it, that is wondering why the head of the Secret Service is having an affair with the First Lady. And you're going, come on. Okay, somebody said the Sentinel's a great movie. No, it's not. I mean, it's okay. I didn't really even get who was trying to kill the president. I thought it was kind of confusing. And I couldn't get back past the fact that Michael Douglas, the head of the Secret Service, was in love with the First Lady. 7 out of 10. I might even give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I seem like a very weak man. You always worry about everything. That's not very attractive. Well, you calling me weak isn't particularly attractive either, Natasha. You having no picture on your name is not very attractive. And as a matter of fact, the name Natasha doesn't appeal to me at all. So the feeling is mutual. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. That is nice. Should I get some more coffee? We got people hopping on now. It feels sort of exciting. I don't know how much I have for you. I don't know how much I have for you. I was gonna make that into a song. Soak it up. I should put it in my bathtub and just kind of wallow in the pumpkin spice. Go in on my first day and they'll be going, Ken, excuse me, Ken, we're happy to have you, but you have a peculiar smell about you. It's not unpleasant, but you smell a little bit like pumpkin spice. A little bit like pumpkin spice. Hello from Brazil, how are you? Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. I wonder if I could bring a thermos of coffee into my new job. Do you ever bring coffee into interviews? I certainly have. As a realtor, you go on a lot of interviews. You sit down for listing appointments. Every time you meet a client, it's kind of an interview. They're feeling you out. And I used to bring, I kind of feel comfortable holding it. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. You live in a small town in North Carolina. A sting operation happened. What do you mean? What do you mean, Angela? What sort of sting? Oh, that's nice. I'm gonna get a little more coffee. I'm having so much fun. Oh, it was a funny looking helicopter. Oh. I'd be scared to fly in a helicopter. By the way, Air Force One, the helicopter, don't worry, the president wasn't on it, nor was the First Lady in the movie The Sentinel, but it got shot down. I was kind of wondering that while this movie was going on. Oh, okay, that's the problem with The Sentinel. It wasn't just the fact that the head of the Secret Service was having an affair with the president's wife. It was that there was this big mall shooting and a guy was just kind of walked out the mall and never got hunted down or never caught. And the Secret Service looked so ridiculously incompetent. They couldn't catch the guy because he was running faster than him. Like he was 50 yards ahead and they couldn't catch the guy. I would hope they would have the whole neighborhood locked down and the guy would be a manhunt and the guy would be caught within minutes. But it wasn't that way. Yeah. Vader Cakes, it is with Eva Longoria. Yeah, Eva Longoria is in it. I was not thrilled with the movie though, Vader Cakes. I didn't like that Michael Douglas was sleeping with the president's wife. I couldn't get past it. I could not deal with it. Or that they had no ability to catch the bad guy. Or really protect the president. They didn't seem to have a very organized system at all. It felt like it. I didn't think Michael Douglas, I would think a guy way up in the Secret Service would be a real badass, and I didn't think he was. Well, yeah, they would never be alone together. Not only would they not be alone, I would hope the Secret Service guy would be vetted enough to know he shouldn't be sleeping with the president's wife. I look at Hollywood movies like Bad Dreams. Let's see. Where am I at? I am at Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm at my kitchen table. And looking forward to my day. I go live every morning. I've been going live the last 3 nights, reading a couple chapters from the Bible. And if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. It grows a little bit every day. Let's see, how's my coffee, Ken? Is it up to the coffee with Ken standards you've come to know and love? Oh, it is. It's the pumpkin spice. It's the last bit of my pumpkin spice. Thought I'd celebrate it on my first day. What verses did I read today? Well, I haven't read any verses today. I don't read verses, I read chapters. And I've only read the first 6 chapters of Genesis. And I'm telling you, it's fairly laborious reading. If I wasn't doing it for my show, I'd go, wow, this is Malachel is fathered Ishmael, and Ishmael fathered Habashel, and it's hard to read. I hear the story gets really good in the New Testament. The pumpkin spice coffee is my favorite, yes. Somebody says, read Amos. Is Amos a book in the Bible? And I'm not going to jump ahead and read a specific chapter, especially a chapter that I don't think exists. There might be an Amos 5, but I don't know. I'm only on Genesis. I'm going to continue to go into it bit by bit. I've heard, I have a lot of people saying I have a good voice and I should do audiobooks. And I thought, what better book would there be to read than the Bible? #1 selling book of all time. A lot of people probably like me want to read it, but maybe too lazy or think it's too long or too hard to read. So let's dig in. Again, I'm only 6 chapters in, which is like 2.5 pages. Got like 8,000 pages left to read. One bite at a time, one day at a time. Don't need to look too far ahead. Lisa Smith, confusing. That's why it's recommended to start with the New Testament. Lisa, what's the deal with that? I don't think that's why it's recommended to start with the New Testament. I think whoever said to start with the New Testament is a Christian. And wants you to be reading the part that is Christian. Yeah. But anyway, it is confusing. But I'm going to keep going. I mean, I'll probably knock out a couple more chapters tonight. Hey, Luke, sub. Well, Lisa, I mean, you could see that. I was in a Christian church and they were saying, oh, you should start at the New Testament. Well, that's because Christ comes into the New Testament. I have to think there's something slightly self-serving about that. And I'm okay with it, but I mean, the Old Testament is, what Jewish people still hold on to, right? Well, thank you, Rebecca. You feel it's an upgrade. I don't know what you mean. Christ is an upgrade. I mean, I still probably got 500 pages till I get to Christ. And that's why I think Christians say, skip all this pre-Christ stuff. They aren't saying not to read the Old Testament, just go in a different order. Lisa, I almost think they are saying to almost not read it. I mean, again, I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be wrong. If you skip it, it's easier for you to get hooked. And yes, they are saying it. I hope because I'm certainly not hooked on the Old Testament, I'll tell you. It is not an easy read at all. But I'm going to read my 2 chapters tonight. You guys can't stop me. If you don't want to tune in, You do not have to. Tune in about 3 years when I finally make it to the Old Testament. Okay, here's my thing, Lisa. I was disappointed how when I told people at a Christian church that I started reading the Bible, how unexcited they were that I did, and how much they wanted me to skip ahead. I felt it was weird. Like, they didn't say, way to go, that's awesome. They told me to get a Bible mentor, to start at a different chapter, and go to Bible study. And I felt that was strange. I feel if the Bible, both testaments, are the words of God, that anyone of any faith should just be thrilled that I started reading them. But I didn't get the feeling that they were. I felt what was more important to them a little bit is that I understand it the way they understand it. Well, thank you, Rebecca Tilley. And it kind of feels, and this is my struggles, if I may parallel something else that's kind of important in my life. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but if I offend somebody, that's okay. We all know the group AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. I haven't had a drink in 4 years. My attitude is the key to it all is not drinking. But I find that almost from the people that are in AA, they want you to join AA. And it's more important that you join AA than you stop drinking. And a little bit I got that same kind of vibe when talking to the Bible, about the Bible, that they couldn't just be happy that I read the Bible. They needed me to go to their Bible study. It felt kind of funny. You're 6 years sober. Way to go. Way to go. No, it's not that I should have gotten appreciation. But I would think if the Bible is the Word of God, right? If both Testaments are the words of God, I guess to say, well, skip ahead. Don't read. No, you shouldn't read it the way it's written. You should skip ahead. But these are the words of God. You know what I mean? Good morning, Julie Flanagan. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's I'm 57. I've never read the Bible. They didn't seem to care that I started reading the Bible. They wanted to tell me to do it differently. Oh, well, I thought you guys would be excited that a non-Bible reader is reading the Bible. And I felt a little strange that it wasn't. And it was kind of the same feeling I get like if I tell somebody that I haven't drank in 4 years, they're almost angry that I don't go to AA. It's a weird feeling. Let's see. And I mean, I'm oversensitive. There's no doubt about it. Then the Old Testament, hold on, where is Lisa? She's my wise. The Old Testament is so difficult, many people won't stick with it. Yeah, no, I get that, Lisa. It is difficult. If I wasn't doing it live, there's probably not a chance in the world I'd stick with it. But I can be really stubborn and persistent. And if anybody wants to tune in, even if I get one viewer that wants to have me read about Noah. I just read about Noah last night in Noah's Ark. It's very specific. God tells Noah the shape of the ark and how tall it should be and how wide. I found that odd. If I was Noah, I probably would have said, God, you build me the ark. If you want it 50 cubits long and 30 cubits high or whatever, you build it. I'm going to build it the way I want. Your Bible friends send you biblical passages daily. They don't want you to get frustrated and quit reading. Most people, is that true? Thank you, Lisa. My question is why most places only sell the New Testament. Sad man, I don't know if that's true. I don't know. My daughters brought me this Bible over Father's Day. And I don't know, it's got the Old Testament in it. Okay, Schlevel said Exodus has several chapters that drag on. Schlevel, have you read the Bible? You tried to read Exodus. Yeah, they have several chapters that drag on about specifics of building the tabernacle. You had to skip it. Yeah, no, Rebecca, I thought it was a pretty cool gift. But yeah, I mean, okay. Who wrote the Old Testament? Who wrote it? Was it Moses? Michael, the coffee's still being drank. But who wrote it? Was it Moses that wrote the Bible? You know what I mean? I studied Exodus. It's full of sin. Imagine what God was thinking during that time. Scribes of the day on scrolls. But a scribe is just like a secretary, right? Whose words, you know what I mean? Various people. But, I mean, I'm reading Genesis, Kings and Prophets. Okay. Kings and Prophets wrote the Bible. Moses wrote the first four. I had heard that he did. Okay, so Moses wrote the first four. Because why am I believing a book that is written by a king? You know, King Charles. It's funny even saying King Charles, by the way. Either way, Moses wrote. I had heard that, I think. Good morning, Opal. We're digging deep into the Bible. Sadman says, some are Moses, but Joshua, Judges, and Kings, so authors are considered to be unknown authors. Okay, but if they're just unknown authors, do you know what I mean? Like, shouldn't Jesus have written the Bible? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, yeah, why am I believing a book that some king wrote? But Jesus was a Muslim. I don't think Jesus was a Muslim. He was a Jew, wasn't he? Yeah, he was. I'd watch The Chosen. Don't try and trick me. Jesus was busy fulfilling prophecies. I'm not saying he wasn't busy. But I'm saying, why are we, if it's, do you know what I mean? Believers believe the Bible was canonized. What does canonized mean? No, I know Jesus didn't write any of it. But if we're to believe the Bible, shouldn't the words be written by somebody so high up, like Jesus? Is all I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just saying, if, a king wrote it, how about a president? Why couldn't Biden have a chapter and Trump have a chapter? Do you know what I mean a little bit? I mean, there were a lot of bad kings. Canonized means they assessed it and the random writer's words were divinely inspired. Huh. Jesus lived the message. His followers wrote it down. Okay, well, Jose, I get that on the New Testament. I've seen The Chosen, and they're writing down things that happened. So I get it on the New Testament, but on the Old Testament, and I'm just exploring my own faith, but I'm kind of curious. I've always, wait, hold on here. I've always viewed organized religion as a control mechanism. Great book filled with heroes and villains, magic and mystery, and the words to live by. But way too much about rendering unto Caesar. I don't know what that means. Sally went to Catholic school, Biden Bible, the book of, all scriptures given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. The prophets all had scribes. All right, so none of us really know, is what I'm saying. Sad Man says there must have been multiple authors, and I know there's a book of Matthew and, what have you. Because what do they say? There's a saying like history is written by the victors or something like that. So if the book is historical, no, I get what faith is, but I mean, if we're going to do a Bible study, let's peel some layers of the onion. So, okay, here's, I guess, almost what I'm saying. I was getting fairly comfortable in my own faith and believing to give fear to God and that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. But almost like watching The Chosen or reading the Bible makes me question things and question my own faith. And when I see the disciples as human beings, or even Jesus as a human being in the show, The Chosen, I guess it's almost confusing to me. Somebody highly suggests Peter 1:20-21 to clear that up. Yeah, but I'm reading Genesis. You stay tuned. I don't know when I'm going to get to 1 Peter 20 and 21. Well, thank you. Yeah, nothing wrong with using the brain that God gave me. Yeah, no, I was fully comfortable in my faith. I mean, not fully comfortable. Hayseed said, I suggest not believing in fairy tales. Hayseed, if you're referring to faith or Christianity as a fairy tale, I would suggest you start believing in fairy tales then. Because I'll tell you what, life's going to deal you some stuff that is bigger than you can handle, or it was certainly bigger than I could handle. And I was afraid and felt the need to have a faith or a belief in a higher power. And since I've started giving my worries and fears over to God, my life's been better. Michael Lopez sees it all the time in the medical field. Somebody says science was considered magic before it was proven to be science. Well, science has never been proven, really, if you get what you're trying to articulate. You don't need a Sky Daddy security blanket. Okay, well, that's cool. Abraham had two sons, Isaac from Sarah and Ishmael from Isaac is of the Christian faith and Ishmael is the start of the Muslim faith. Am I correct on this? Bible experts. Connie, I am not a Bible expert, so you're obviously not asking me, but I know there's something like that. And I believe Judaism, Islam, and Christianity are all Abrahamic faiths. Is that correct? Okay, and as Abrahamic faiths, if we're all praying to God, and I guess what does the same God mean? But there's actually a song titled The Same God. Okay, the difference is God made a covenant with Isaac. I don't know what a covenant means though. And Isaac was the head of the beginner of the Christian faith. Islam is not a religion if the same God in Christianity and Judaism. Wow. Okay, so Bruce said God had a covenant, an agreement with Isaac. Again, I find reading the Bible and watching The Chosen, like I said, 2 months ago before I started watching The Chosen and the House of David, strongly recommend House of David. I really didn't have many questions. I was going, okay. Christ died on the cross for our sins, or Jesus did. Thank you, God. I had a very simple view of faith. And the more I research or study or read, the covenant is that God will never flood the world again. Okay, that through him, okay, I like that. Uh, Somebody said the Old Testament well, this is interesting. It kind of feels, and I don't think God's going to strike me down, but what I'm hearing is the Old Testament kind of sucks. Nobody out there is giving it a good review. Hard to read, genealogies, specifics. People get stuck and stop reading. Skip ahead. You know, there are, and try reading them on a live show. You're going, holy crud, there's all these weird names. I'm going, I don't know how to say this name. Good morning, Claudia from El Paso. Okay, Pig Daddy said, no, the Old Testament is a great story. It isn't a book to review. It isn't a TV show. Well, I don't know. We're talking about it. It's okay to review it. Well, you're saying that is why your church people recommend a mentor or Bible study to help. But my point is, if they're the words of God, and the whole reason I don't really love the Catholic Church is I don't feel anyone needs to come between me and my faith. And I think in a Catholic Church, clearly there's a pope and there's a priest that can, and you confess your sins to the priest, or, you know, and there's cardinals and there's this whole governmental thing. And I kind of don't buy that. So if the Bible are the words of God, to have somebody translate it to me and explain it to me, I'm just getting man's opinion. Yeah, I'm getting man's opinion. What is the difference between a priest and a pastor? I would say a priest, to me, a pastor, well, a pastor can get married. They don't. A pastor inspires me. Bruce says there's one mediator between God and man, and that's Jesus Christ. Okay. Jesse's saying, imagine going into karate school. I don't know if it is what I'm saying. Do I believe Jesus was the Son of God? I certainly have doubts. What a glorious audience today, and a deep discussion. I did not anticipate this. I did not anticipate such a biblical discussion. Somebody said, could God microwave a burrito? Even he couldn't eat it. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, not enough is being said about the microwave and its amazing technology, that we can heat up things super easy. Well, it's Tuesday morning. We've had a wonderful audience, a glorious audience today. And I'm excited about my day. Aren't we all children of God? I think so, Julie Flanagan. Well, Bruce, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. What I like about my show, and what I like about not being a realtor anymore, is I can talk about things like this. I bring up politics, and not in a mean way, or race, not in a racist way, but I discuss things that sometimes make people uncomfortable. Yeah. Where are those shows streaming? Lisa Smith, if you're talking about The Chosen and House of David, I'm telling you, they're great. Even, I saw them both on Prime. And The Chosen has put out 5 episodes, or 5 seasons, I mean. And they just finished filming the 6th, which is Jesus' crucifixion and rebirth. And the House of David was amazing. And I just watched season 1, and it ends with David slaying Goliath. David's story is second only to Christ himself. Yeah, apparently, and I don't know who David is, and that's why I think House of David's interesting. Was a big player. To me, I only remember hearing David slayed Goliath with a stone. And I'll tell you what, the story so far has been great. And again, I think you can look at it just from an entertainment point of view, and it gets your mind thinking on biblical or spiritual stuff. And I don't think questioning the Bible or the words you hear is wrong at all. Sally Carson, how long have you had a YouTube account? I'll bet you Sally Carson's had a YouTube account less than a week. What do I think about sales as a job? When I was out of work, I got on Indeed and looked up sales jobs. I don't think I'm very good at it. I don't want to use the word pushy, but I don't eat rejection for breakfast, and I'm not a closer, if you will. I have more than 61 followers. When do I start my new job? Today. I'm going in at 10. Much is backed up by archaeology. Thank you, Stank. Where did Sally Carson go? I asked how long she's had an account. She disappeared, and nobody looked her up. Well, thank you, Pig Daddy. Yeah, I'm not mocking it. I'm wondering. I'm going, well. And if I say the Old Testament sucks, I don't mean to be offensive, but everyone's telling me to skip it. It goes into great detail with hard names and stuff. I'll tell you what, I've watched the 10 Commandments, and that's a heck of a good movie. Yeah. But anyway, I guess I don't have a heck of a lot for you today, but we have talked for 95 minutes. Are you a real pastor? Today's job is close to home. Okay, Carrie Ann Clark says don't skip it. Without the Old Testament, the New makes no sense. Okay. Well, I plan to go live at about 6 o'clock tonight and read, what have I read? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To read chapter 7 and 8 of the book of Genesis tonight. I'm looking forward, to be honest, to when it gets a little darker outside, to create a little more biblical reading mood with my candle and my lamp and my crackling fireplace. But either way, I'm targeting about 6 o'clock to go live tonight to read. How long have I been doing this show, The Coffee with Ken? In one form or other for like 6 years, but not really, but kind of 6 years. It started 6 years ago. If you're talking about the Bible reading, I've only done that 3 nights. Rebecca sees Goliath as the giants in our life and how we can overcome the obstacles in our life with faith. Yeah. Yeah, actually in the song, the Same God song, they go, although we don't all face Goliath, we all have our own giants. And I'll tell you, the first time I heard that line, I cried because I was thinking about all the stuff that I was facing. And it kind of brought me in. Will I have comments on this evening? I usually don't, Cleo. I don't have the comments on just because I want it to be about the, and I mean, like if you watched last night's Bible reading, I didn't really even editorialize. I just sat down and started reading it basically and let you guys do what you will or interpret what you will. You know, I might reflect and go, wow, that chapter was hard to read. I struggled with a lot of names or whatever. But yeah, I don't want the comments because I don't want people hopping on and saying mean things. And, you know, I had somebody saying mean things about me during this show. And what I don't want is somebody to come and distract, take over the conversation. And even a lot of you guys were being nice and defending me with that person. But again, you were distracted. I'd appreciate you sticking up for me and telling the woman to keep going. But I don't want you guys being distracted either. So that's why I have the comments off when I do my Bible reading. I've only done it 3 times. And it's been hard. Yeah, it's been hard. But anyway, I so appreciate you for hopping on and joining me today. We've had a great show. We've talked for about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. I'm excited about my day. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little frightened. But I'm looking forward to it. I got half a pot of coffee. I got some things I need to eat. I'm going to hop in the shower. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to show up to work probably 10 minutes early. I think that is the optimal time to show up for an interview or for work. 10 minutes, not too crazy early, but certainly not making the boss or the interviewer wonder if you're going to show. Why am I nervous about my new job? Is it hard? I don't know. I haven't done it. That's why I'm nervous. But anyway, again, thank you guys so much for joining. I hope your week started off great yesterday. You had a wonderful night's sleep. You are feeling good. You are loving yourself. You are forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon.